Hello there, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Liam's Fight Night Picks here on the STVX YouTube channel. After a quiet week last week and a week away, we are back with the first fight week to lead us into a massive end to 2024 that takes us all the way through to Christmas Eve boxing, to courtesy of the monster from Japan, Inoue. I'm delighted to say that my guest this week has been on the show before. I'm delighted to have Mr. Neutral back with me. How are you, mate?
Very good, well, thank you, Liam.
Good to see you again, mate. So, yeah, it's this big end to the year starting with this Saturday. We've got at least one card every weekend to get stuck into. And we start with possibly Matchroom's best domestic card of the year. I mean, there's not a lot of competition there with what we've had in the UK this year, but this card in Birmingham on Saturday night is definitely up there with one of their best of the year. And we'll jump right in. We're going to start with Conor Walker and Lewis Ritson. So Conor Walker is coming into this fight off of the back of a domestic fight of the year contender against Lewis Crocker back in June. He came out on the wrong side of a points decision there, but he was very competitive in that fight, and he surprised a lot of people, including Crocker's trainer, Billy Nelson, who said after the fight that he didn't realise Walker would have as much determination as he showed that night. What do you think, mate?
Yeah, I absolutely agree, Liam. It was a very close fight looking at the judges now, the way they scored. There was not a lot in it. The margins are fine, very fine in each round. He presents a problem to Lewis Ritson because Crocker, for me, was one of the top welterweights that the British Isles has to offer. So, this is going to be a really good fight, a really interesting matchup between Conor and Lewis. If we look at Lewis, 23 wins, 4 defeats, 13 by way of knockout, and he's been on, sadly, the end of 3 knockouts, sort of 4 defeats, including O'Hara Davis and Paddy Donovan. So he's coming off the back of 2 very high-profile losses, Lewis, and he will not want to lose a third on the trot, and this is all to play for. Probably, for me, one of the most competitive fights of the night, looking at that card. I'll be very interested to see this fight. As far as the prediction is are we doing that yet, Liam?
I was just going to talk about Lewis Ritson quickly, mate. So you've touched on it there. Look, he's the former British champion at 135. He's now up at welterweight. And we know he moved up because he outdrew the weight, and the opportunities as well meant he had to move up. But he's coming into it after being stopped, as you mentioned, by both O'Hara Davis and Paddy Donovan. Is it fair to say Lewis's best days are behind him? He's just rolling the dice one last time, so to speak. If he can get through this fight, there's probably a British title there for the winner, and he can see that as an opportunity for him, can't he?
The Sandman's only 31. I still think there's plenty of life left in Lewis as a pro. And, they're very tough up northeast way. Sometimes they don't know when to quit. But, I think if he loses this fight, Lewis, then he's got to do some work, hard graft, to get back up to this kind of level now, because, British welterweight levels is quite hot. He's in amongst some firecrackers. And again, it comes back down to, how much he can come back from 2 high-profile losses by way of knockout. How's that going to affect him going into this ring with Conor Walker, who is on the back, coming back off wins? It's one's coming up, one's coming down. It's fascinating.
It's
absolutely
fascinating. No, you're absolutely right. It's the case of a fighter who probably still has his best days to come in Conor Walker, and a fighter whose best days, if you weren't watching Matchroom cards before they moved over to the Zone, you probably have never seen Lewis Ritson and what he was doing when he won the British title. We had 3 fights in 6 months, and they all ended by stoppage. He absolutely blitzed through the domestic 135 division. So we'll move on to a prediction from you, mate. I'll come to you first.
Yeah. Obviously, Lewis Crocker, he himself is coming. My man there, Ritson.
Lewis Walker.
And Conor Walker, Conor Walker, I'm getting him mixed up with Lewis Crocker. They both fought Lewis Crocker. You know, he lost by unanimous decision against Lewis. So him himself again, you know, he's coming into this fight, right? We've both lost to this guy, but you got knocked out. So he's got that psychological advantage, you know, rather than losing. What again was a close fight with Lewis Crocker, 96, 93, 90 on two judges' cards, and 95, 94 on another. You know, this again, it just adds to this fascinating, you know, spice pot of a fight. You know, there are all sorts of things that are getting added in here. But he has got some good wins. You know, just previous to that, he had knocked out Lloyd Jermaine in Ulster. He was 9-0, so he was, you know, he's a good prospect. I just feel that Conor is going to take this one. It's going to be a battle over 10 rounds, and for me, Conor Walker will take it on points, 96-94. It's going to be a close fight, though.
It's going to be a really good fight. Lewis Ritson doesn't go backwards. He only comes forward. He only knows one way to fight. Conor Walker proved against Crocker that he's got a set of cojones on him as well, that he's more than capable of having a phone box war, so to speak. And I just think Walker is the naturally bigger fighter. We've seen Ritson's problems against Donovan and Davis have been that they're naturally bigger fighters. As the fight's worn on, he's found it harder to deal with their extra weight. And I think that might be an issue here. I don't see a stoppage coming from Walker. He's not a big stoppage guy. He's only got 5 stoppages on the record. But again, similar to you, I think 96, 94, 97, 93 on points for Conor Walker is where I'm leaning on this fight. Definitely.
I agree.
So we'll move on to the next one, mate. And this is one of the most exciting prospects, I think it's fair to say, in British boxing, in the shape of Cameron Vuong. And the apprenticeship is over. He is going in against Gavin Gwynne, who, you know, Gwynne has been there, done that with everyone. His last outing, obviously, he was blown away by Mark Chamberlain in Saudi back in March this year. But Gavin Gwynne, he's held a British and European title before. He knows his way around the ring. And I suppose my first question here is this a risk taken too early by Team Cameron Vuong?
There is that argument. Cameron Vuong, I'm a big fan of Cameron Vuong, I have to say, Liam. I watched him a few fights back in his 6th, I can't remember what fight it was, his 4th fight. I think just have a look. And of course, you know, he's had 1 10-round and 1 8-rounder and 2 8-rounders now. So he's like you say, you know, he's now going up in rounds, going up in levels. But I thought he struggled a wee bit with Jeff Ofori and his style over that unanimous decision. When, you know, again, it was couldn't put him away. I don't want him to get, you know, to this mentality that he's going to knock out everyone he comes up. He's got to box smarter than he did against his last 2 opponents. So, to be fair, I've taken defeats. You know, Joe Hughes was 8-3, and Jeff Ofori was 13-7. Ishmael Ellis before that, which he did get the stoppage, was 14-7. So he's a real pure boxer for me, Cameron, and I enjoy watching him. But, you know, he's up against a wily 34-year-old experienced Gavin Gwynne, and Gavin's going to test him. There's no doubt about that. Gavin will not. He's not the type, you know, the West Midlands guy. He's not going to take any nonsense from Vuong, and he'll want to get something back after that Saudi defeat, the 4th round TKO stoppage from Mark Chamberlain. But Mark Chamberlain, to be fair, is a much higher level than Cameron Vuong is right now. So this is an equaliser here for Gavin Gwynne, in my opinion. This is the sort of fight, an up-and-coming fighter. If he stops Vuong or he beats Vuong, then he's going to get another shot somewhere. But if he loses, you know, he's going to get that gatekeeper type label because, you know, he has been a British champion. He has been up there. So he's going to be a good test for, you know, and especially at his age now, he just fits into that category. So yeah, but I'm expecting a big performance from Vuong here.
Mate, I'm the same as you. I'm a massive Cameron Vuong fan. I love the fact that he's with Jamie Moore and Nigel Travis. I feel like that's the perfect team for him to be with. They're nurturing and bringing him on perfectly. And hey, there's nothing wrong with seeing him take this risk. We know he's got the talent. We know that he believes he's going to go on to win world titles, not just at this weight, but other weight classes as well. How long do you hold a fighter back? If they're ready to be let off the reins, you let them go, don't you? Because you're only going to stop the growth. So look, full credit goes to Sam Jones, Jamie Moore, Eddie Hearn, everyone that's made this fight happen. Gavin Gwynne, if I'm him, I'm coming in a bit pissed off. He's probably thinking, right, they've seen me get blown away by Mark Chamberlain.
Yeah.
They think it's going to happen now with this young pup. He should be coming in with a chip on his shoulder, with a point to prove. And, if Cameron Vuong is slightly off his game, if he's slightly cocky, if he's taking it slightly too lightly, Gavin Gwynne will find a way to make this a horrible night. And it can very quickly become a nightmare for young Cameron, can't it?
That's what I said. He won't take any nonsense from Vuong. He'll pressure him the whole fight. So you're going to see some Cameron Vuong skills and slick skills, defense. But I've seen him get tagged a few times, and Gavin won't take any messing. So he's got to be on his very best, because this is a step up, big step up for young Cameron. And is the apprenticeship over after this fight? It's got to be said. If he comes out victorious for the knockout of Gavin Gwynne, then exciting times are ahead for him, and all that praise and justification that Eddie's put into him will be worthwhile.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If he comes through this with a knockout or with a statement 10-round shutout, then you don't want to see him take a step backwards. It's only moving forward. So we move on to predictions, mate. For me, Cameron Vuong, this is going to be his breakout performance. Look, we've seen what he's done against limited opposition so far, so to speak. But this is an opponent that, if he can carry on with the level of performances he's been showing, everyone's going to have to start taking notice of him.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So for me, Cameron Vuong, I don't believe he will stop Gavin Gwynne, but I do believe he's going to take a wide points victory. I'm talking probably 8 rounds to 2, 9 rounds to 1. And he's going to propel himself towards a massive 2020. How about yourself?
Yeah, I can actually see a Cameron Vuong stoppage in this fight if he applies himself properly. He'll know that Gavin is coming at him from the back out from Mark Chamberlain. He'll want to take advantage of that mentality that Gavin Gwynne will want to show. But like you said, Gavin could come into this fight miffed. He'll want to prove that no up-and-coming young gun is going to overtake me. Again, another spicy fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, this is a Matchroom card. It's what we've been used to from Matchroom for years, and we haven't seen on UK shores this year. It's good that we're getting it. It's a shame that it's coming too late in the year, but this is a fantastic card, and that theme carries on as we move into the co-main event of the evening, which will be Kieron Conway and Ryan Kelly. This was a fight. Conway was obviously added to the card late as a result of the debacle, shall we say, of the Japanese prize fighter tournament that is no more after those quarterfinals. And the Commonwealth Border Control have decided to slap the 160 title on it, which the fights that could make in the future is, on a domestic level, is absolutely brilliant. So Conway's unbeaten in 3 years since he lost on points to Amo Williams at the back end of 2022. But for me, look, he's been there and done it. He's got the T-shirt. He's mixed it. He's been on Canelo on the cards. He's been in against big names. When he's lost because he's dared to step up, not because he slips up in fights he should be winning. And you look at Ryan Kelly. I mean, Ryan Kelly, he's a local fighter, so this is his chance to propel himself into the domestic scene, isn't it? But I'm unsure if Ryan Kelly is anywhere near the level of Kieron Conway in terms of, I think Kieron should be able to move through the gears quite comfortably in this fight.
Yeah. Obviously it's a late, replacement fight, but this should be a one-sided affair. There's a massive difference in levels here. Kieron Conway, this is the one fight on this card that shouldn't be happening. You know, as much as I like Kieron Conway here, I just think his opponent is just not up to his standard. So I don't get this one.
No, it's an underwhelming opponent, isn't it? I think if there wasn't the Commonwealth title on the line, and this was a 18-rounder as a way of getting Conway active, obviously after the prize fighter tournament falling off, I would understand it. The fact there's a Commonwealth title on it, just is leaning everyone to say it should be a one-sided night for Kieron Conway, which is a shame because he's a talented fighter, and there's Brad Pauls and Denzel Bentley waiting in the wings potentially for the winner, which is a great fight, but you'd expect a better level of opponent than Ryan Kelly. And I say that not meaning any disrespect.
No disrespect, but, you can tell it's a late rush decision. But let's give Ryan Kelly his due props. And again, he's been given a big stage. And this, for the Commonwealth middleweight title, is it's a nice carrot that's dangling in front of him. It's up to him to take advantage. He has been 12 rounds before with his TKO stoppage of Linus. That's Kieron, but Ryan Kelly. If I'm looking at his resume here, I mean Jerome Warburton, who 14-1-1. To be fair, that's not a bad, but he struggled on points over 6 rounds with the Romanian Lutic. That wasn't an impressive performance. So he's got a big step up in class here. So I'm expecting a stoppage from Kieron Conway.
Yeah, mate, I completely agree. It's an underwhelming fight from a fighter I'm glad to see back in the ring, if that makes sense, with Kieron Conway.
Yep.
Fully expecting to pick up the Commonwealth title, fully expect it to be a stoppage victory, and just hope that the deal that was made between Frank and Eddie to move this fight on so Pauls and Bentley could fight as well. Hopefully that comes off in the first quarter of 2025.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate for Kieron on this occasion that, but again, if he's patient, just gets on with it and wait for the next one. But I'm fully expecting a comprehensive victory. The difference in class is going to be apparent for me.
Yeah, it could be a fight that from the very first round, you can see what the difference in class is, and it's kind of one where you're going, how long is this going to go on for? Which is a shame, but you never know what's going to happen on the night.
Absolutely. So I've got that for a stoppage finish, and I'm going to see within 8 rounds.
Yeah, I'm going to say a stoppage somewhere between round 6 and round 9 for me. I think, take a bit of time. Kelly's definitely going to throw everything he has into this fight, but Conway's class and the higher caliber of fighters he's been in with should come true in the end. So that moves us on to our main event, mate, which is an intriguing fight between Sonny Showtime Edwards and Galal Yafai. The WBC have slapped their interim world title on it. They love their 3%, don't they? They couldn't help themselves. They had to put something on this fight, but
they do like them sanctioning fees.
If we forget the interim world title for a moment and just look at this as a fight, you've got Sonny Edwards, who for me is one of British boxing's best technicians, but because he fights at such a low weight, he doesn't get the plaudits from the armchair fans because not a lot of people will know his name. And then you got Galal Yafai, who is actually the older man in this fight at 31 years old, the 2020 Olympic gold medalist, who is, had his pro career moved at quite a rapid rate of knots. And this has been talked about for a while. Edwards and Yafai were talked about fighting before Sonny lost his world title against Bam Rodriguez, who's a top 5 pound-for-pound fighter. There's no shame in that performance he gave that night. He's come back since with a good comeback victory, out in America against Sonny. a lot of people think this is going to be a close fight. Before I come to you, mate, for me, I think this has all the hallmarks of being a Sonny Edwards masterclass. Just another fight where he says to Galal, look, you're a good, talented fighter, but I am just that next level above. I'm not sure how you feel about this, mate, but that's where I'm leaning with it.
The class act is Sonny Edwards. He's fought the best. He's lost to only the best, one of the top 5 pound for pound fighter in the world. He's shown that after that defeat, he's come back with a comprehensive performance over Adrian Curiel over in Phoenix.
Yep.
He's got that X factor, hasn't he? He's got the silky, sublime. He's like that at the crowd when people are messing him. I love that. It's just showman. That's why he's called showman. Showtime. However, you allow Yafai 6 knockouts from 8 fights. The question again is the apprenticeship over when you're in the ring? It's fighting Sonny Edwards on a main event. And this is an absolute, let's see, a dream come true for Galal Yafai. Yes, he's the Olympic gold medalist. He's the golden boy of the bantamweight decision, from amateur upwards. But, mate, you're up against the creme de la creme of British boxing. And not only that, international world boxing. Yep. Sonny Edwards is number 2 in the rankings in there, for not by accident, because of the way he's fought people and the standard and at that level. I can only imagine Galal Yafai going into this fight and thinking to himself, I've got to knock him out. That's the only way I can do this. Can he match? I know he's fast, but can he match Sonny Edwards? Whoa. You're going to find out. You're going to find out. Yes.
Yeah, it is an intriguing fight, and I think a leveler for me is that Sonny has left the tutelage of Grant Smith, and he's gone off with Chris Williams. He has been a part of his camp before, but has never taken the role of chief second, obviously, before Saturday night. And I mean, Sonny does what Sonny wants. Sonny has said before, I can train myself for fights. I don't need a team in the corner. Yeah. He's showed how cocky he is. But that is an interesting one for me. That obviously came out about 3 weeks ago. We're led to believe it happened in the back end of the summer, so they've had plenty of time to adjust. But if there is any signs that Sonny's taken this complacent and hasn't gelled with Chris Williams as well, we'll know early on. And Galal is definitely a fighter who has a lot of pop, especially for down at flyweight. You don't often see a fighter 8-0 with 6 KOs. That's almost unheard of. So if Sonny isn't on his A game, if he has all of a sudden just started to drop the other side of the cliff, then Galal's going to take advantage of that, absolutely, isn't he?
Oh, without a doubt, he's probably one of the hardest hitting flyweights, out there right now. Sonny's reaction to, one of his power shots or a combination of power shots is going to be interesting if he gets caught. So, cat and mouse, very much going to be. I see Galal, you're offensive. Because I think he'll know in his mind with Sonny's poor knockout record that he doesn't present a power problem to him. So if I'm Yafai Galal going into that fight, I'm not going to be too worried about Sonny's power. I'm going to be worried about Sonny's scoring on me. So fascinating. And, a very, very good headliner because he's well liked. Sonny Birmingham's, is right by Yorkshire, Sheffield, where he lives, of course, and that's Galal Yafai country. That his fan base is going to be massive in Birmingham. Big up the Birmingham fans, and they're going to have a treat. This is going to be a fantastic event, and can't wait. Saturday night.
It's fantastic. It's Sonny Edwards who can fight at a high tempo and deliver for 12 rounds against Galal Yafai in his first 12 rounder. We know he's got the power. We know he's got the boxing ability. but can he do it at this level? And I'm going to come to you first for your prediction, mate. How do you see this main event going down in Birmingham on Saturday night?
Put me on the spot here. Yes. Look, my head says Sonny, but the heart says Yafai.
Okay.
Because I love a knockout merchant. And if I've seen of Galal's knockouts, I don't care whose chin it is in front of them, they're going to get hurt. So let's see. But Sonny's super skillful. You know, his counterpunching is exemplary. And he's either going to make a mug of Galal Yafai or he's getting knocked out. It's one of these for me. So yeah, head and heart. Head says Sonny on points, but the heart says Galal Yafai with a knockout, a surprise knockout championship rounds.
I'm in the camp of that Sonny's going to make Galal look a bit of a mug. I think his movement and his speed and timing may just be too quick for Galal at this point in his career, and he's going to be trying to get his shots off, but Sonny's going to be getting his work off, and then he's going to be gone. And if Galal can't react to that, he's going to become frustrated. He's going to, be off his game. So for me, this is going to be a 8-4, 9-3 points victory for Sonny Edwards, and then hopefully we'll see him back in world title mix in 2025. But it's a fascinating main event, and it's a very good, at least 4 fights that we just discussed. There's some good action on this card. So make sure you're tuning in on DAZN on Saturday night from Birmingham. It will be a great card. But all that's left for me to say, mate, is thank you very much for coming on. Really appreciate your time.
Anytime. My pleasure.
Let the people know what your handles are on social media, mate, 'cause you're definitely a page for them to be following if they're not already.
Mr. Neutral on Twitter. I've got rid of the rest.
There's
There's only one place you can find me, YouTube.
Make sure you get at this man. He's all over it. He's very knowledgeable. Lots of spaces, lots of interaction always. So if you're not following Mr. Neutral, please hit him up. From myself, please give me a follow at Liam_Tully9 if you're not already. Next week, I will be back looking ahead to the Magnificent 7 card and Liam Harrow returning to the scene of the crime in Puerto Rico to make the first defense of his IBF lightweight world title. So I hope to see you then. As always, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Street Talk.